The champagne cork popped in a hotel room. My newborn daughter took her first breath in a hospital. My husband chose the champagne. I'm Victoria, 30 years old, 7 days postpartum, and about to discover that my perfect marriage was actually a perfectly planned trap. The text message arrived at 3 a.m. while I was nursing my week-old baby. One photo, my husband, another woman, the hotel suite we stayed at for our anniversary. Except it wasn't our anniversary. It was the night I gave birth. That photo led me down a rabbit hole of offshore bank accounts, hidden assets, and life insurance policies that made my blood run cold. My fairy tale marriage, it was fraud, calculated from day one. And I had exactly 3 weeks before a prenuptial agreement destroyed any chance I had of escape. So I ran, with my newborn daughter, no money, no plan, just pure survival instinct and a mother's desperate need to protect her child from a man who saw us both as property. What I found next? Evidence that the affair was just the surface. That my millionaire husband had been planning something far worse than divorce. Something that would leave him wealthy, sympathetic, and free. And me? Gone. Permanently. This is the story of how I disappeared before he could make me disappear. How I fought a family with unlimited resources and generations of power. How I survived when the system was designed for me to fail. This is my story. Every word is true, and it might just save your life or someone you love. Stay with me, because what happened next will shock you, inspire you, and maybe, just maybe, give you the courage to recognize your own beautiful cage before it's too late. Let's begin. The champagne cork popped. Eleanor's first cry pierced the celebration, and Tori's phone lit up with the text that would destroy everything. 3:17 in the morning. 7 days postpartum. Victoria Hayes sat in the rocking chair in the nursery, her body a map of pain. Every muscle ached, her breasts throbbed with milk, the stitches between her legs burned with each small movement. Eleanor finally slept after 2 solid hours of cluster feeding. The baby monitor on the dresser emitted a soft static hum, the only other sound in the 8,000 square foot house. Gregory's side of the bed remained cold, empty, again. Tori told herself he was working late. The Morrison Tower deal, the investors from Dubai who kept ridiculous hours. The excuse sounded hollow even in her exhausted mind. Her husband had missed 3 nights this week. 3 nights while she struggled alone with a newborn. 3 nights while her body healed from bringing his daughter into the world. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand, unknown number. She almost ignored it. Her hand was already reaching to silence it when something made her stop, made her look. The message contained a single photo. No words, just an image that would replay in her mind for months to come. Gregory, a hotel room she recognized. The Peninsula, their anniversary suite. The one with the view of Lake Michigan and the Egyptian cotton sheets and the marble bathroom. Except it was not their anniversary. And the woman tangled in those expensive sheets was not Tori. Her thumb hovered over the screen. Lock, unlock, lock. The motion repeated. Dramatic, compulsive, like checking would somehow change what she saw. Like the image would disappear if she just looked one more time. The photos showed more than bodies, more than betrayal. It showed ease, laughter frozen in pixels. The way Gregory's hand cupped this woman's face with tenderness. The same gesture he used with Tori. Before Eleanor. Before everything changed. Before her body became a vessel instead of something he desired. He looks happy, she whispered to the darkness. That was what destroyed her. Not the naked skin, not the obvious intimacy. The joy on his face, a joy she had not seen directed at her in months. Maybe years. A second text arrived before she could process the first. Thought you should know. He spent your daughter's birth night with me. Happy 1-week anniversary, Mrs. Hayes. Minus Amber. Tori's milk let down immediately, the physical response to emotional shock. Wet warmth spread across her nursing tank. Her body knew something was wrong before her mind could catch up, before she could form coherent thoughts beyond the animal understanding that her world had just collapsed. Eleanor stirred in the bassinet, made small squeaking sounds, the sounds that meant she would wake soon. Hungry again, always hungry. Tori's breast responded to those sounds. Hard, painful, leaking. her body designed to nurture even as her heart shattered. She moved through the house like a ghost, down the spiral staircase Gregory insisted on. For resale value, he had said during the renovation. Everything was always about value. Investment. Return on investment. She understood now that she had been an investment too. Young enough, pretty enough, moldable enough. The marble floor felt ice cold against her bare feet. She did not remember deciding to walk to his study, did not remember opening the door. But suddenly she stood in his private space, the room that smelled like leather and mahogany in old money. The Hayes family money built over 3 generations. His laptop sat open on the desk, screen still glowing. He left in such a hurry he forgot to shut it down. Or maybe he wanted her to find it. Maybe some part of him was tired of the performance. The email inbox revealed everything. Hotel reservations throughout her pregnancy. Flowers sent, not to her, never to her anymore. She scrolled through charge after charge, gift purchases, a diamond bracelet from Tiffany. She never received a diamond bracelet. Dinner reservations at Alinea. They had not been to Alinea in 2 years. But the calendar destroyed her completely. Her due date marked in red. February 14th, Valentine's Day. How fitting. Beside it an entry, cancel -T in labor. The next entry, same day, 2 hours later. Peninsula, Suite 412, 7 p.m. Tori's water broke at 6:30 that evening. She called Gregory 17 times while contractions ripped through her body. 17 calls to voicemail while she labored alone in their bedroom. Her mother Helen drove like a demon from Evanston to get her, held her hand in the car, talked her through contractions at every red light. Gregory arrived at Northwestern Memorial at 11 p.m., 3.5 hours after she called. He smelled like hotel soap and someone else's perfume. Traffic was terrible, he said. The Morrison deal ran late. So sorry, sweetheart. Did I miss anything important? He held her hand through the final hours of labor, kissed her forehead when Eleanor emerged at 1:23 a.m., took the first photo of their daughter with tears in his eyes. His smile looked genuine. His joy felt real. And then he went home to get some rest before helping tomorrow. You need sleep, he said. I will be back first thing in the morning. He went home to nothing because he had already celebrated elsewhere with someone else while his wife pushed their daughter into the world. Tori sat in his leather chair, Eleanor's newborn photos still pulled up on her phone. She looked at her daughter's perfect face, then at the hotel receipt dated February 14th, then back at Eleanor, 7 days old, 1 week of life, and already her father had chosen another woman over her. The study door opened. Tori's heart stopped. But it was not Gregory, just the house settling, just the old pipes creaking, just her paranoia that he would catch her snooping. She pulled up the file directory, found the folder labeled legal. Inside, their prenuptial agreement. 20 pages she signed 4 years and 11 months ago. When she was 25 and in love, and stupid enough to trust. She scrolled through clauses she barely remembered. Her hands shook so badly she could hardly control the trackpad. But certain words jumped out. Certain numbers. If marriage ends before 5 years, she gets nothing. If marriage ends before first child turns 1, she gets nothing. If adultery is proven on her part, she gets nothing. His adultery was not mentioned, not once in 20 pages. They married on March 7th, 5 years ago -3 weeks. Eleanor was 7 days old, 51 weeks until her first birthday. The timing was not coincidence. The pregnancy was not accident. Everything had been calculated, planned, executed with precision. She had been set up from the beginning. Tori closed the laptop carefully, stood on shaking legs, walked back upstairs on autopilot. Eleanor was awake now, face red with rage, tiny fists pumping the air, mouth wide in that newborn cry that pierced straight through to a mother's bones. She lifted her daughter from the bassinet. The weight settled against her chest. Familiar. Right. The only thing that felt right anymore. Eleanor rooted frantically, found the breast, latched with desperate intensity. The pull sent oxytocin flooding through Tori's system, the hormone designed to bond mother and child. Love and devastation mixing until she could not separate them, could not tell where one ended and the other began. She sat in the nursing chair Gregory's mother Diane bought, From Italy, Diane had sniffed at the baby shower. Nothing but the best for a Hayes heir. The chair cost more than Tori's first car, more than 3 months of the salary she used to earn before Gregory convinced her to quit her job. Focus on building our family, he said. I make enough for both of us. You should not have to work. You should not have to stress. Just be happy. Just be beautiful. Just be mine. She gave up her career in marketing, gave up her independence, gave up the small apartment in Wicker Park that was hers, moved into his house, his life, his world, became Mrs. Gregory Hayes, lost Victoria Morrison somewhere in the transformation. The affair timeline played in her mind like a horror movie she could not stop watching. Hotel receipts dated to her anatomy scan. The day they found out Eleanor was a girl. Gregory took Amber to the Wisconsin coast while Tori called her mother crying with joy about the daughter growing inside her. Her baby shower in December. Gregory working late. She found the photos now. Him and Amber at Gibson's Steakhouse. The same restaurant where he proposed to Tori 5 years ago. Same table probably. Same champagne. Different woman. Her third trimester. The hardest months. Swollen ankles. Exhausted beyond measure. Terrified of everything that could go wrong. Gregory increasingly distant. Coming home later. Leaving earlier. Building their future, he said. Making sure we are secure. Making sure Eleanor has everything. He was building a future. Just not with Tori in it. Eleanor fell asleep at the breast. Milk drunk, her perfect rosebud mouth slack. Dark eyelashes against pink cheeks. Innocent. Trusting. Unaware that her world was broken before she even understood what a world was. You deserve better than this. Tori whispered it to her daughter, but she meant herself too. They both deserve better than Gregory Hayes and his calculated cruelty. Better than the beautiful cage he built. Better than the lie he called a marriage. The first light of dawn crept through the nursery windows. Gray and cold. February in Chicago. The wind howled off the lake. The house creaked and settled. Tori held her sleeping daughter and watched the sun rise on the first day of her new understanding. Everything she thought she knew was a lie. Every moment of her marriage had been performance. Every I love you was strategy. Every tender gesture was investment in a plan she never saw coming. But now she saw, now she understood, and now she had less than 24 hours to decide what to do about it. Her phone buzzed. Gregory's text. Late meeting ran even later. Grabbing hotel room downtown. See you this evening. Kiss Eleanor for me. The casual lie, not even creative anymore. He did not care if she believed him. Did not care if she hurt. Did not care about anything except maintaining appearances until the prenup period ended and he could discard her legally. Tori typed a response, deleted it, typed again, finally sent 2 letters. Okay, 1 word. Years of rage compressed into polite acknowledgement. Years of love transformed into cold acceptance. She kissed Eleanor's forehead, breathed in that newborn scent that made her chest ache with fierce protective love. Love so intense it terrified her. Love that made her capable of things she never imagined. At 4 a.m., Tori made a phone call that would either save her or destroy her completely. She did not know which yet, did not care. She only knew staying was no longer an option. Running was no longer cowardice. Survival was no longer selfish. She called the only person who ever told her the truth. The phone rang 3 times before Becca answered, her voice thick with sleep. Confused. Tori, it is 4 a.m. Is Eleanor okay? Becca. Tori's voice cracked on the single syllable. He has been cheating on me throughout my entire pregnancy. And the prenup. I just read the prenup again. I am trapped. Silence. Not shock. Something worse. Recognition. Confirmation. You knew. Tori's voice went flat. Dead. How long have you known? 6 months. Becca's breath came fast over the line. I saw them at Mastro's in September. I thought maybe it was business, but the way he touched her. Tori, I have been trying to figure out how to tell you. You were so pregnant, so happy about the baby. I did not want to ruin that for you. I did not want to add stress when you needed to stay calm for Eleanor. Everyone knew. The realization hit like physical pain. Sharp, precise, devastating. How many people knew while I was walking around pregnant and clueless? I do not know who else knew. But Tori, listen to me. The prenup has a time clause. You need to stay married until 5 years. That is 3 more weeks, and Eleanor needs to turn 1. If you file now, you get nothing. He keeps everything, including Eleanor if he wants to fight for her. He will not fight for her. Tori knew this with certainty. Eleanor was part of the plan. The heir, but he never wanted to be a father. He wanted the appearance of family, the perfect picture, the Hayes dynasty continuing. He wanted what Eleanor represented, not who she was. Tori, listen to me carefully. Becca's lawyer voice activated, sharp, urgent. If he is planning to divorce you after 5 years, he is probably already preparing. Bank accounts, assets, everything could be moving right now while you are postpartum and vulnerable, while you are not paying attention, while you are too exhausted to notice. What do I do? First, you document everything. Take photos of that laptop, every email, every receipt, every calendar entry. We need proof of the affair, proof of the timeline. Second, we need to find out about the assets. I can pull records, but I need your permission. I need you to sign some papers. Come over. Now. Tori glanced at Eleanor sleeping in the bassinet. Please, I cannot do this alone. I am already getting dressed. After the call ended, Tori sat in darkness, Eleanor asleep, the house quiet, the weight of her new reality settling over her like a heavy blanket, suffocating, inescapable. She stood and walked through the house, really looked at it for the first time in months, maybe years. 8,000 square feet in Lincoln Park, 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. A nursery that took 6 months to design. Walls painted the perfect shade of pale pink. Furniture from Restoration Hardware. Every detail curated by Diane Hayes and her decorator. None of it was Tori's. Not the couch, not the art, not the dishes, not the towels. Gregory bought the house before they met, furnished it with family money. Every improvement paid for by the Hayes fortune. She lived in his space, wore his choices, existed in the life he designed. She owned nothing here, not even the maternity clothes in the closet. Gregory had her entire wardrobe updated when they married. Everything designer, everything expensive, everything replaceable. You represent the Hayes family now, Diane said. You need to look the part. Tori opened the refrigerator, stared at the contents without seeing them. Organic produce from the farmer's market, grass-fed beef, free-range eggs, everything carefully selected, everything pristine, everything controlled. The coffee off I had to make her kicked on at 6 a.m. Automatic timer, Gregory's schedule. Even now, the house ran on his rhythm, his preferences, his needs. She poured a cup, added cream from the crystal pitcher on the counter. The ritual automatic after 5 years. How many mornings had she done this? Made his coffee, made his breakfast, made his life comfortable while he unmade hers? The coffee tasted bitter. She drank it anyway. Needed the caffeine. Had not slept more than 90 minutes straight in 7 days. Her body screamed for rest, for healing, for time to recover from pregnancy and birth. But there was no time. Not anymore. Her phone buzzed. Text from Becca, 20 minutes away. Traffic light on Lakeshore Drive. Tori went upstairs, changed out of the milk-stained nursing tank, put on leggings and a clean shirt. Her postpartum body strange in the mirror. Soft stomach, heavy breasts, hips wider than before. She looked like someone else, felt like someone else. Maybe she was someone else now. Maybe the old Victoria Morrison was gone. Maybe Tori Hayes was dying too. Maybe whoever came next would be stronger. The doorbell rang at 6:43. Tori opened it to find Becca on the steps, her best friend since college, the one who warned her about Gregory from the beginning. I do not trust him, Becca said the day after they met. He is too smooth, too perfect, too good to be true. Tori did not listen. 25 and in love, 25 and stupid, 25 and convinced fairy tales could be real. Becca hugged her carefully, mindful of her postpartum body. I am so sorry. I should have told you sooner. I was trying to protect you, but I just made it worse. You were the only one who tried to protect me. Tori pulled back, wiped her eyes. Everyone else just watched. Let me walk around pregnant and oblivious while my husband screwed his mistress. They sat at the kitchen island, Eleanor still sleeping upstairs. The monitor between them showing the nursery in grainy black and white, the baby shifting in her sleep, dreaming whatever newborns dream, milk and warmth and safety, things that felt increasingly fragile. Show me what you found. Becca opened her laptop. Tori walked her through it. The emails, the hotel receipts, the calendar entries, the timeline that showed Gregory with Amber the night Eleanor was born. Becca photographed everything, downloaded files, built a digital trail. This is good. Becca's fingers flew across the keyboard. This is very good. The affair is clear. The timeline is damning. But we need more. We need to show financial preparation. We need to prove he was planning this all along, that the marriage was fraudulent from the start. How do we prove that? Bank records, asset transfers, any movement of money in the last year. If he is hiding funds, there will be a trail. Rich men always think they are smarter than they are. They get sloppy. And Gregory strikes me as the type to get very sloppy. Can you find that? I can try. But Tori, this will take time. And we might not like what we find. If he has been planning this for years, if the prenup was designed to trap you, then he is more calculating than we thought. More dangerous. Dangerous how? I do not know yet. But men who plan this carefully, men who manipulate this completely, they do not do it halfway. There is more here. I can feel it. We just have to find it. Eleanor's cry pierced through the monitor. Sharp, insistent, hungry again. Tori's breast responded instantly. Leaking, aching, her body a slave to biology even as her mind tried to plan escape. She went upstairs, lifted Eleanor from the bassinet, settled in the nursing chair. Eleanor latched desperately, pull after pull after pull, taking what she needed without asking, without apology, the way babies do, the way Tori wished she could take what she needed from the world. Becca appeared in the doorway. Watched them, said nothing for a long moment. You are going to leave him. It was not a question, just statement, recognition of inevitability. Yes, when? I do not know. Soon. Before he comes home. Before he can stop me. Before I lose my nerve. Where will you go? My mother. She has that cabin up in Wisconsin. The one she bought after Dad died. No one knows about it except us. No cell service, no neighbors, no way to find us unless you know exactly where to look. Good. Becca nodded. That is good. But Tori, you need to understand, once you leave, this becomes war. Gregory will not just let you walk away with Eleanor. He will fight. He will use every resource he has, every connection his family has, every dirty trick in the book. You need to be ready for that. I know. But did she? Did she really understand what she was starting? What it meant to go against the Hayes family? Old money, old power, old connections that ran deep through Chicago's legal system and social networks. Gregory's father, Malcolm Hayes, sat on half a dozen corporate boards, new judges and politicians and police commissioners. One phone call could mobilize an army of lawyers and investigators and influence. What if he takes Eleanor? Tori's voice broke. What if I leave and he gets a court order? What if he says I kidnapped her? What if I lose her? You are not kidnapping her. You are her mother. You are breastfeeding. You are taking your newborn daughter to stay with your mother. That is not illegal. That is not kidnapping. That is survival. Becca sat on the floor beside the nursing chair, took Tori's free hand. I am going to tell you something. Something I need you to hear. You did nothing wrong. You trusted your husband. You built a life with him. You carried his child. You gave him everything. And he betrayed you. That is on him. Not you. You do not deserve this. Eleanor does not deserve this. And you have every right to protect yourself and your daughter. Tori nodded. Could not speak past the lump in her throat. Could only hold her daughter and let the tears fall silently while Eleanor nursed and Becca held her hand and the morning light grew stronger outside the window. At 8 a.m., Tori called her mother. Helen Morrison answered on the first ring. Always awake, always ready. Nurse instincts never fade even in retirement. Mom, I need you to come get at me. Don't tell anyone. Don't call anyone. Just come. I am already in the car. No questions, no hesitation, just immediate action. That was Helen. Practical, fierce. The woman who raised Tori alone after her father died when she was 8. The woman who worked double shifts to pay for college. The woman who warned her about Gregory, but supported her anyway because you have to let your children make their own mistakes. While waiting, Tori packed. Not suitcases. Too obvious. She filled the diaper bag methodically. Eleanor's things first. Diapers, wipes. Formula backup, even though she was breastfeeding. You never knew. Always have backup. Onesies. Sleepers. The hand-knit blanket Helen made before Eleanor was born. Her own items fit in a single canvas tote. Leggings, t-shirts, underwear, nursing bras, her medications, postpartum vitamins, pain pills she barely touched because she was breastfeeding. Her toothbrush, face wash, the basics. Her hand hesitated over the jewelry box. The wedding ring, 3 carats set in platinum. The anniversary gifts, diamond earrings, a tennis bracelet, the necklace Gregory gave her when Eleanor was born. For giving me a daughter. The cards sat in the box. His handwriting, his lies. She left everything, except her grandmother's locket. The only thing that was truly hers. The only thing from before Gregory. Before the Hayes family. Before she lost herself in someone else's life. Becca helped carry bags to the front door. Checked the street for Gregory's car. For anyone watching. The paranoia felt justified. Necessary. What about your phone? Becca asked. Leave it. Tori set it on the entry table. Plugged in. He can track it. Let him think I am here. Let him call and text and wonder. Give me a head start. You are sure about this? No. Tori looked back at the house, at 5 years of her life, at the beautiful cage she called home. But I am doing it anyway. Helen's Subaru pulled up at 8:45. Eleanor strapped in the car seat Helen brought. The diaper bag, the tote, nothing else. Everything left behind looked normal. Coffee cup still on the counter. Tori's phone charging in the entry. Lights on timers. The house waiting for its owners to return. But Tori herself and Eleanor. Gone. They drove north out of Chicago. Through Evanston. Through Wilmette. Through the suburbs that gave way to rural Wisconsin. Helen did not ask questions. Did not demand explanations. Just drove while Tori sat in the back seat beside Eleanor and watched her old life disappear in the rearview mirror. The cabin sat on 12 acres of pine forest, no neighbors for 2 miles, no cell service, no way to find them unless you knew exactly where to look. Helen bought it 15 years ago with her nursing savings, never told anyone except Tori. A woman always needs an escape plan, she said when Tori was 15 and asked about the property deed she found. Now Tori understood. Now she knew. Her mother had been preparing for this moment. Maybe not this specific moment, but some version of it. Some situation where a woman needed to vanish, needed safety, needed time to regroup before facing the battle ahead. Inside the cabin smelled like pine and dust and safety. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a wood stove, solar panels Helen installed last year. Just in case, she said. In case of what? This moment, this escape. How long have you been planning this? Tori asked. Since the day you told me you were marrying him. Eleanor woke hungry as Helen unloaded the car. Her cry echoed through the small cabin, so loud after the mansion's space, after rooms big enough to swallow sound. Here every noise felt amplified, immediate, real. Tori settled on the ancient sofa, lifted her shirt. Eleanor latched with fierce intensity. The pull, familiar now. Grounding. This was real. Her daughter. This love. Everything else felt like a fever dream she was slowly waking from. The cabin had electricity from the solar panels, running water from a well, heat from the wood stove Helen was now loading with logs. Basic, simple. Everything the Lincoln Park house was not. I bought groceries yesterday. Helen stacked cans in the small pantry. Bread, eggs, coffee, baby supplies. I have been preparing for a month. You knew I would leave? I hoped you would. Helen's voice was matter of fact. Clinical. The nurse and her assessing a situation and planning accordingly. After you told me about the prenup timing, after I did the math on Eleanor's birth and your anniversary, the pieces were too convenient, too calculated. I knew something was wrong. I just did not know what. He was cheating. Throughout my entire pregnancy. Helen stopped moving, turned slowly, her face carefully neutral, but her eyes betrayed rage. The entire pregnancy? I have emails dating back to my first trimester, hotel receipts throughout. He was with her the night Eleanor was born, while I was in labor. While I called him 17 times, he was with his mistress. Helen sat down hard on a kitchen chair, closed her eyes, breathed through her nose like she was physically fighting for control. His name is Gregory Hayes. He is 43 years old. He comes from money, and he will answer for what he has done to you. Mom, I do not want revenge. I just want out. I just want Eleanor safe. I just want to survive this. Sometimes survival requires a fight. Eleanor released the breast. Milk drunk again. Tori burped her gently, the small body warm and trusting against her shoulder. She thought about Diane Hayes, about the baby shower where Gregory's mother barely looked at Eleanor's ultrasound photos, about the visits to the hospital where Diane held Eleanor like she was made of porcelain. Distant, clinical. A Hayes hair, not a granddaughter. Your phone is ringing. Helen nodded toward the canvas tote. Tori pulled out the burner phone Becca gave her that morning. Simple flip phone, untraceable. Prepaid. The kind people use when they do not want to be found. It was Becca. He knows. Becca's voice was tight. Gregory called me at 9 a.m., asked if I had seen you, asked if I knew where you went. I told him no. But Tori, he sounded panicked. Really panicked. He is mobilizing. What does that mean? It means I just got a call from a private investigator named Jonathan Brennan. He said Gregory hired him to locate his missing wife and infant daughter. He wanted to know if you contacted me, if I helped you, if I know where you are. What did you say? I told him you are a grown woman capable of making your own decisions, that you and Eleanor are safe. That is all he needs to know. But Tori, this is just the beginning. Gregory will not stop. His family will not stop. They have resources we cannot even imagine. I know, there is something else. Becca's voice dropped. I started pulling financial records this morning. Tori, he has been moving money for 8 months, since your second trimester. Offshore accounts, trusts in his parents' names. He has been systematically hiding assets where you cannot touch them in a divorce. How much? Millions, maybe tens of millions. Family money he claimed was tied up in trusts. It is not. It is liquid, and it is being moved very carefully, very deliberately, very illegally if we can prove fraud. Can you prove it? I am working on it. But Tori, there is more. The house, your house, the Lincoln Park property. He has been in talks to sell it. Offers received 3 weeks ago, before Eleanor was even born. He was planning to move you somewhere smaller, more isolated, harder to leave from. The words took a moment to penetrate, then they detonated. He was going to trap me, not just financially, physically, move me somewhere I had no friends, no support, no way out. Yes, and Tori, I found something else. Insurance policies, plural, on you. Taken out 6 months ago, large policies, very large. With him as sole beneficiary, life insurance. Tori heard her voice from very far away, like someone else was speaking. He took out life insurance on me while I was pregnant. Multiple policies, different companies, for amounts that will raise red flags now that I am looking. Tori, this was not just about divorce, I think. I think he was planning something worse. The cabin went silent. Even Eleanor seemed to hold her breath. Helen's face had gone gray. What are you saying? Tori whispered. I am saying men do not take out multiple life insurance policies on their healthy pregnant wives unless they are planning for a specific outcome. I am saying the asset hiding and the prenup timing and the insurance policies altogether paint a very dark picture. I am saying you might have left just in time. He would not. Tori's mind rejected it even as her body understood. He would not actually. He is not. He would not hurt me, not physically. Would he not? Becca asked gently. A man who lies throughout your pregnancy, who betrays you on your daughter's birth night, who systematically hides money and traps you legally. What would that man not do to protect his assets and his reputation? Tori stood and walked to the window, looked out at the pine forest, at the isolation that felt like safety an hour ago. Now it felt like something else, like vulnerability, like exposure. like not enough distance between her and whatever Gregory was capable of. I need you to be careful, Becca continued. I need you to not answer his calls, not engage, not give him any information about where you are. Let him panic. Let him search. Every day he does not find you is another day we have to build our case. Our case for what? For proving the marriage was fraudulent from the start, for invalidating the prenup, for getting you full custody and financial support and everything you are entitled to, for making sure Gregory Hayes never hurts you or Eleanor again. After the call ended, Tori stood at the window for a long time. Eleanor asleep against her chest in the wrap carrier Helen brought, the baby's breath warm and steady, innocent, unaware. Helen came to stand beside her, said nothing, just presence. I married a monster. Tori's voice was flat, emotionless, shock settling in. I brought a child into the world with a monster. What does that make me? Human. Helen put an arm around her shoulders. It makes you human. You trusted someone who lied very well. You loved someone who was very good at being lovable when it served his purposes. That is not your fault. That is his choice, his evil, not yours. But Eleanor has you, and that is more than many children have. A mother who loves her enough to run, who is brave enough to fight, who will protect her no matter the country. Mom. Eleanor is lucky. I do not feel brave. Brave people never do. That is what makes them brave. They are terrified and they do it anyway. Tori thought about the timeline Becca uncovered. 8 months of moving money, 3 weeks of house hunting, 6 months of insurance policies, Gregory planning her exit, or worse, planning her permanent absence, planning to be a wealthy widower with an infant daughter and the sympathy of everyone who knew him. Poor Gregory lost his wife so young, so tragic, postpartum complications probably. Such a shame. But look how well he is handling it. Such a devoted father, such a strong man. The narrative was already written. She could see it. He had been building it for months. The concerned husband, the worried father, the man who tried everything, who would be devastated by her loss, who would inherit everything and raise Eleanor surrounded by the Hayes family money and power and control. Except she was not dead. She was here, alive, aware, angry, and anger was so much better than fear. Helen made lunch, canned soup and bread, simple food that tasted better than anything from the designer kitchen in Lincoln Park. They ate in silence, Eleanor sleeping in the portable bassinet, the wood stove crackling, the cabin warm and safe and impossibly far from the life Tori knew. Her mother's phone rang that afternoon. Unknown number. They let it go to voicemail. It rang again, and again, and again. Finally, Helen answered. Yes, Mrs. Morrison, this is Jonathan Brennan. I am a private investigator hired by Gregory Hayes. He is very concerned about his wife and newborn daughter. They seem to have left the family home this morning without notification. Mr. Hayes is worried for their safety. If you know where they are, I would appreciate. My daughter is fine. The baby is fine. They needed some space. That is all you need to know. Mr. Hayes would very much like to speak with his wife. To make sure Mr. Hayes can call her phone like a normal human being. Goodbye. Helen hung up, blocked the number, looked at Tori. It is starting. Tori fed Eleanor again at 3 p.m., at 6 p.m., at 9 p.m. The routine grounding, familiar, real. Each feeding a reminder that this was why she left. This tiny human who depended completely on her, who needed her alive, who needed her strong, who needed her free. Night fell early in February, dark by 5. The cabin lights glowing warm against the black forest. No street lights, no city glow. Just stars and darkness and the sound of wind through pines. Helen made dinner. Pasta with jarred sauce, garlic bread, wine for herself, water for Tori, who was still breastfeeding. They ate in front of the wood stove, Eleanor sleeping between them. Safe, warm, loved. Tell me about Dad. Tori had not asked in years. Tell me how you survived when he died. Helen was quiet for a long moment, stared into the fire, finally spoke. I did not think I would survive. When the heart attack took him, you were 8, I was 32. I had been a nurse, but I had been a wife longer. An identity built on partnership. When he died, I thought I died too. Thought I was just going through motions until it was my turn to stop breathing. What changed? You. Helen looked at her daughter. You needed me. Not the woman I was before, not the wife I had been. You needed a mother, a provider, a protector. So I became those things. I went back to nursing, took extra shifts, built a life that was mine. Built strength I did not know I had. And eventually I realized something. I was not half of something anymore. I was whole by myself, complete, capable, free. That is what I want. Tori held Eleanor closer. That wholeness, that freedom. I want to be complete without him. I want Eleanor to see a mother who is strong on her own, not dependent, not controlled, not performing a role in someone else's story. Then that is what you will become. But Tori, you need to understand, the becoming is brutal. The transformation hurts. You will have moments where you want to go back, where the cage looks better than the wilderness, where giving up seems easier than fighting. You will doubt yourself, doubt your choices, doubt your ability to survive alone. What do I do in those moments? You remember why you left. You look at Eleanor, and you keep going. One breath, one feeding, one day, until the strength becomes real instead of performance, until you believe it yourself. Tori nodded, could not speak past the emotion lodged in her throat, could only hold her daughter and stare at the fire and hope she was strong enough for what was coming. Because something was coming. She could feel it. Gregory would not simply let her disappear, would not accept her absence quietly. He was planning something, building his counterattack, marshaling his resources, and when he struck, she needed to be ready. The second night in the cabin, Eleanor woke every 90 minutes, hungry, fussy, growing through some invisible developmental leap that made her need constant reassurance, constant contact, constant feeding. Tori walked circles around the small living room, bouncing, shushing, nursing. Her body ached with exhaustion. Her stitches pulled with each step. Her breasts were sore from constant feeding. Everything hurt, physical pain layering over emotional devastation until she could not separate them. At 2:30 a.m., she finally got Eleanor back to sleep, laid her carefully in the bassinet, held her breath while the baby settled. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes without waking. Tori sat on the couch and cried. Not pretty tears, ugly sobs that came from somewhere deep and primal. From the place that held all the fear and rage and grief she had been pushing down. The place that understood how close she came to something terrible. How vulnerable she had been. How trapped. Helen appeared in the doorway, did not say anything, just sat beside Tori and held her while she shook, while she mourned the life she thought she had. The husband she thought she knew. The future she thought was certain. I cannot do this. Tori's voice was hoarse from crying. I cannot be a single mother. I cannot fight the Hayes family. I cannot survive on my own with a newborn. I cannot. You can. Helen's voice was steel. Certainty. You are doing it right now. This moment. This breath. You can. What if I fail? What if I am not strong enough? What if he takes Eleanor? What if I lose everything? Then you get up and you try again. Helen cupped Tori's face, made her look up, made her see. I raised you alone. My mother raised me alone. Women have been doing this since the beginning of time. Surviving, fighting, protecting their children against everything the world throws at them. You come from a line of survivors. You have that strength in your blood. I do not feel strong. No one feels strong when they are transforming. The caterpillar does not feel powerful when it dissolves inside the chrysalis. It feels like it is dying, but that dissolving is necessary. That destruction is how the butterfly forms. You are dissolving right now, and what you become next will be stronger than what you were. Tori wanted to believe her, wanted to trust that this brutal present was building towards something better. But trust felt impossible when the man she trusted most had betrayed her so completely. Her laptop sat on the small kitchen table. The one thing she grabbed from Gregory's study, she opened it, typed in the password, pulled up her email account that Gregory did not know existed. The one she made 5 years ago when some small voice warned her to keep something private, something he could not access or control or take away. She started typing, deleted it, typed again, finally sent the message. Becca, I need everything, bank records, asset transfers, anything showing he planned this. I cannot go back without ammunition. I will not survive if I go back empty-handed, please. The response came within 30 seconds. Becca was awake too, working, building their case while Tori fed her daughter in a cabin in the woods. Already on it, what I am finding. Tori, it is worse than we thought. Call me when you can. Secure line. Worse. How could it possibly be worse? Morning came gray and cold. Snow fell light and steady outside the cabin windows. Eleanor woke at 6, fed, changed, fed again. The endless cycle of newborn care that left no room for processing trauma. No space for falling apart. Just survival. Just meeting needs. Just getting through each hour until the next feeding. At 10 a.m., Helen set up a video call with Becca. Tori held Eleanor, armor, shield, reminder of why she left, why she had to keep fighting. Becca's face on screen looked exhausted, determined, her hair in a messy bun, no makeup, dark circles under her eyes. I have been up all night pulling records. Gregory has been very busy, very careful, very thorough, but he made mistakes. Rich men always make mistakes because they think they are untouchable. Show me. Becca shared her screen. Bank statements, account transfers, trust documents. The numbers were staggering. Gregory moving $2 million here, $5 million there, $10 million into an offshore account in the Cayman Islands. All of it beginning 8 months ago. He was moving money since your second trimester. Since June. Since right after your anatomy scan when you found out Eleanor was a girl. He started planning your exit the moment he knew he would have an heir. Because he only needed me for that. To carry the Hayes heir. After that, I was disposable. Yes. Becca clicked through more documents, and he was very methodical about it. Moving amounts small enough to not trigger automatic reporting, using family trusts, using corporate accounts, layering transactions so they were hard to trace. If I was not looking specifically for this pattern, I would have missed it. But you found it, I found it, and I found something else. Becca pulled up property records. The Lincoln Park house, 8,000 square feet worth $4 million. Purchase offers dated 3 weeks before Eleanor's birth. He was selling our home before Eleanor was even born. Not just selling, he already accepted an offer. Closing date is March 15th, 2 weeks after your anniversary, right when the prenup protection would have run out and he could have filed for divorce. So what was his plan? Sell the house? Divorce me with nothing? Move somewhere new with Eleanor and his mistress? That was what I thought, but then I found these. The insurance policies appeared on screen. 3 different companies, 3 different agents, all taken out within a 2-week period 6 months ago. Each policy for $1 million. Total death benefit, $3 million. Beneficiary on all 3, Gregory Hayes. Men take out life insurance on their wives sometimes. It is not unusual. Men take out reasonable life insurance, maybe $500,000, maybe even $1 million if they are wealthy. But $3 million on a 30-year-old woman with no health problems? During pregnancy, when the risk of maternal death is actually very low in developed countries? Tori, this is not normal. This is suspicious. This is the kind of thing insurance fraud investigators flag immediately. What are you saying? I am saying, combined with everything else, the asset hiding, the prenup timing, the isolation planning, the systematic trap being built. These policies feel like Gregory was preparing for a specific outcome, an outcome where you were no longer alive to contest anything. The cabin went very quiet. Even Eleanor seemed to sense the moment, lay still against Tori's chest, big eyes staring up at her mother. You think he was planning to kill me? It was not a question, just statement, horror, disbelief, certainty all mixing together. I think he was planning for the possibility. I think if you had stayed, if you had made it to the anniversary and he filed for divorce, if you had fought him for custody or assets or alimony, I think he had a backup plan, an exit strategy that solved all his problems permanently. But how? We live in the city. We have cameras, neighbors, security. How would he even? Postpartum depression. Becca's voice was gentle but firm. It is very common, very serious, very tragic when it leads to suicide or accidental overdose. Very believable. and very hard to prove otherwise if the narrative is established beforehand. Tori felt cold, bone-deep cold that had nothing to do with the cabin temperature. Gregory laying groundwork. Gregory telling people Tori was struggling. Gregory expressing concern to doctors and friends and family. Poor Gregory. He tried everything. He was so worried, so devastated when it happened. Such a tragedy. And after her death, insurance money plus hidden assets plus the house sale, plus Eleanor, plus sympathy, plus freedom to marry Amber or whoever came next. Gregory Hayes, the devoted widower. The tragic figure, the strong man raising his daughter alone. Except she left, disrupted the plan, disappeared before he could execute whatever came next. I left just in time. Tori's voice was barely audible. You left just in time, Becca confirmed. And now we need to make a year he can never hurt you, can never take Eleanor, can never finish what he started. How? We prove everything. We document everything. We build a case so airtight that no judge will give him custody. No mediator will give him the benefit of doubt. We destroy his credibility completely. And we make sure the world knows what Gregory Hayes is capable of. But his family, his resources, his connections are meaningless if we have evidence. The Hayes family is powerful, but they are not above the law. In insurance fraud, asset hiding, planning harm against the spouse. These are serious crimes, federal crimes in some cases. We just need enough proof to make charges stick. Do we have enough? Not yet. But we are getting there. And Tori, I have one more thing. Someone reached out to me this morning. Someone who wants to talk to you. Someone who might have information that changes everything. Who? Amber. The name hung in the air. The mistress, the other woman, the catalyst for all of this. Why would she want to talk to me? I do not know, but she said it is urgent. She said Gregory is planning something. She said you need to hear what she knows. For it is too late. Tori looked at Helen, all at Eleanor, at Becca on screen. 3 generations of women, 3 points of support, 3 reasons to keep fighting. Set up the call. The call came at 2 p.m. Tori sat on the cabin couch, Eleanor sleeping beside her, and Helen on one side, the laptop on the coffee table showing Becca's face, and then another square appeared. A young woman with blonde hair and red eyes. Amber Cartwright looked terrified. Please don't hang up, her voice shook. I know you have every reason to hate me, to blame me, to want nothing to do with me, but I need you to listen. I need you to understand. Gregory is planning something bad, and I think you are in danger. Tori wanted to scream at her, wanted to rage about the betrayal, the affair throughout her pregnancy, the deliberate cruelty of that text message with the photo. But something in Amber's face stopped her. Real fear, real regret, real desperation. Why should I believe anything you say? Because I have recordings. Amber's chin came up, defiant despite the tears. I have been recording Gregory for 3 months, every conversation, every meeting, every time he talked about his plans. I was gathering insurance, leverage to make sure he married me like he promised. But now I realize what I was actually recording. Which was what? Evidence that he was planning to harm you. Evidence that the affair was strategy, not passion. Evidence that everything he told me was a lie. Just like everything he told you. Play it! Becca's voice was sharp. If you really have recordings, play them now. Amber's hands shook as she pulled up files on her screen. Click play. Gregory's voice filled the cabin. Clear, unmistakable, confident. Once the prenup period ends, I will file. Claim postpartum psychosis. Get temporary custody. She will fall apart. Make it easy. Then permanent custody. She gets nothing. I keep Eleanor. Control the trust funds. Mother will help raise her. Everything stays in the family. Amber's voice, younger, uncertain. What if she fights? She won't. Gregory laughed. Actually laughed. She is weak, always has been. That is why I chose her. Young, naive, dependent, easy to manipulate, easy to control, easy to discard when her purpose is served. The recording continued. Minutes of Gregory explaining his plan, the asset hiding, the house sale, the insurance policies. Everything Becca found, everything Tori suspected, all confirmed in his own words. And then the worst part. What about the policies, Amber asked. The life insurance. Why did you need so much? Backup plan. Gregory's voice was casual, matter of fact, like discussing a business transaction. If the divorce gets messy, if she fights for Eleanor or money or alimony. Postpartum depression is very serious, very dangerous. Women do tragic things. Terrible accidents happen. Better to be prepared for all possibilities. The recording ended. The cabin was silent except for Eleanor's breathing. Peaceful, unaware, safe for now. Tori felt nothing. Past shock, past rage, into something colder, clearer, more dangerous. How long have you been recording him? 3 months, since November. Amber wiped her eyes. He told me he loved me, that once his wife gave birth and the prenup period ended, he would divorce her and marry me. Make me Mrs. Hayes, partner in the firm. Everything I dreamed of. I come from nothing, Mrs. Hayes. I grew up in a trailer park in Indiana. Gregory Hayes was my lottery ticket, my escape, my future. So why are you helping me now? Because 2 weeks ago I found documents in his office. Plans to contest Eleanor's paternity, even though he knows she is his. Plans to have you committed involuntarily for psychiatric evaluation. Plans to take everything from you. And I realized, I am not special. I am not the love of his life. I am just younger and dumber than you were. And if he will do this to his wife, the mother of his child, what will he do to me when I am no longer useful? The truth settled between them. 2 women, different ages, different backgrounds, same enemy, same danger. I want to give you the recordings, all of them, everything I have. Amber leaned toward her camera. I do not want to be part of this anymore. I do not want to be the woman who helped destroy another woman. I want out. I want away from him. I want to start over somewhere he cannot find me. Why not just leave, Tori asked. Why contact me? Because leaving is not enough. He will come after me if I just disappear. I signed NDAs, non-compete agreements. He will sue me into oblivion, destroy my career, make sure I never work in real estate again. But if I help you, if I testify, if I provide evidence, then I have protection, leverage, a reason to be kept safe instead of silenced. Becca leaned forward. Miss Cartwright, are you saying you are willing to testify against Gregory Hayes in court? Yes, if it keeps me safe, if it keeps Mrs. Hayes safe, if it stops him from hurting anyone else. Yes, I will testify. I will provide recordings. I will tell the truth about everything, even about the affair, especially about the affair. Amber's voice hardened. He pursued me. He told me his marriage was over. He said his wife was just a placeholder until the prenup expired. He made me believe I was special, chosen. But I was just another pawn in his game. Just like Mrs. Hayes, just like everyone who trusts Gregory Hayes. Tori looked at Helen, at Eleanor, at this young woman on screen who looked so much like Tori 5 years ago. In love with a lie, believing in a future that did not exist, trusting someone incapable of truth. Do you have copies of the recordings? Multiple copies, cloud storage, hard drives, thumb drives, safe deposit box. I am not stupid, Mrs. Hayes. I knew I might need insurance. Send everything to Becca. Tori made the decision, felt the rightness of it settle in her bones. Send her everything, every recording, every document, every email, everything you have that shows who Gregory really is. And then what happens to me? Then you disappear, just like I did. You go somewhere he cannot find you. You start over. You build a new life. And you pray we gather enough evidence to destroy him before he destroys us. After the call ended, Tori fed Eleanor again, the routine grounding her, reminding her what mattered. This tiny person who depended completely on her. This innocent life that deserved protection from her father's calculated cruelty. Becca's voice came through the laptop. Tori, this is it. This is what we need. Gregory's own words, his own confession, combined with the financial records and the insurance policies in Amber's testimony. We can prove fraudulent marriage. We can invalidate the prenup. We can get you full custody. We can even pursue criminal charges if we play this right. What do you need from me? Nothing yet. Just stay hidden, stay safe. Let me build the case. Let me coordinate with Amber. Let me put together evidence that no judge can ignore. And in a few weeks, we go on the offensive. We hit him with everything at once, before he knows what is happening. But Helen's phone rang before Becca finished speaking. Unknown number. They all froze. Answer it. Tori's voice was steady. It is time to stop hiding. Helen put the call on speaker. Mrs. Morrison, this is Malcolm Hayes. I believe you know who I am. I know who you are. Helen's voice was ice. I want to see my granddaughter. You have kept her from us long enough. Where is my son's wife? Where is the baby? They are safe. That is all you need to know. Safe? Malcolm's voice rose. Safe from what? From their family? From their home? Your daughter has stolen my son's child, removed her from her rightful home. Gregory is beside himself with worry. Your son was cheating on his wife throughout her pregnancy. Tori spoke up. Loud, clear, unafraid. Your son hid assets. Your son took out suspicious life insurance policies. Your son planned to have me committed and take my daughter. Tell me, Mr. Hayes, which part of that makes him a concerned father? Silence. Long enough to hear Malcolm's breathing change. Long enough to know her words hit home. You are being emotional. His voice became placating, condescending, irrational. Postpartum hormones make women say things they do not mean. Gregory has explained your condition, the mood swings, the paranoia. You need help, Victoria, medical help. Let us get you the treatment you need. There it is, the backup plan. Tori almost laughed. You are trying to establish the narrative. Crazy wife, unstable mother, needs intervention. Tell me, how much did Gregory promise you if you helped him execute his plan? I don't know what you are talking about. Yes, you do. Men like you always know. You helped him write that prenup. You helped him hide the assets. You probably suggested the insurance policies. You are his father, his mentor, his example. Everything he is, you made him. Malcolm's voice went cold, hard. You need to understand something, Victoria. The Hayes family protects its own. We have resources, connections, power. If you try to fight us, we will crush you, destroy you, take Eleanor, and make sure you never see her again. Do you understand? The threat hung in the air, clear, unambiguous, but Tori felt something unexpected. Not fear, power. I understand that you are scared, that your son's actions are finally catching up to him, that the empire you built is threatened by one woman and a newborn baby. But here is what you need to understand, Mr. Hayes. I have evidence, recordings, financial documents, proof of everything Gregory planned, proof of your involvement. And I have lawyers who are very interested in showing all of this to the authorities. You are bluffing. Try me. She hung up. Her hands shook, but her voice had been steady. Helen stared at her with something like pride. Becca on screen was grinning. That was beautiful, Becca said. That was perfect. He is rattled. They are all rattled, and rattled people make mistakes, but they will fight back. Tori held Eleanor closer. They will not just let this go. No, Becca agreed. They will not, which is why we need to move fast. File first. Hit them with everything before they can mount their defense. I am drafting the divorce petition now, requesting emergency custody, requesting asset freeze, requesting temporary support. We go on offense. Tomorrow, Tori's voice wavered. Tomorrow, time to stop hiding, time to fight. The next morning brought winter sun through the cabin windows, harsh, bright, the kind of light that exposed everything, that made hiding impossible. Tori had not slept. Eleanor woke every 2 hours, but even between feedings, Tori lay awake, mind racing, planning, on preparing for war against people who had never lost a battle. At 8 a.m. Becca called. It is done. I filed the petition an hour ago. Divorce, emergency custody, restraining order, asset freeze, everything. Gregory's being served this morning. We are going public before he can control the narrative. What happens next? Court in 3 days. Emergency hearing for temporary custody and support. We present evidence. He presents whatever defense his lawyers come up with. Judge decides who keeps Eleanor while the case proceeds. 3 days. Tori looked at her daughter. 3 days until she had to face Gregory, had to walk into a courtroom, had to trust the legal system to protect them. You can do this. Becca's voice was certain. We have the evidence. We have Amber's testimony. We have the recordings. We have everything we need to show Gregory is unfit for custody, dangerous even. No judge will give him Eleanor after hearing what we have. But his family, his money, his connections are useless if the evidence is overwhelming. And Tori, I leaked the story to the press, to legal bloggers, to journalists who cover family law. By noon, everyone will know about the prenup fraud, the asset hiding, the suspicious insurance policies. Public pressure makes judicial bias harder, makes corruption more risky. The Hayes family cannot fight in shadows if we shine light on everything. You leaked it? I thought that was bad legal strategy. Usually it is, but this case is different. Gregory's power comes from reputation, from image, from the Hayes family name being synonymous with success and respectability. We destroy that. We destroy his leverage. We make him toxic, radioactive. Someone no judge wants to side with publicly. What if it backfires? What if it makes him more dangerous? Then we deal with that. But Tori, we cannot play defense forever. We cannot hide and hope he gets tired of searching. We have to attack, have to expose, have to fight. Tori stood and walked to the window. Snow covered the ground, pure, untouched, deceptive in its beauty, like everything about her marriage. Pretty surface hiding ugly truth. I want to write something, a statement, my version of what happened. I want people to know why I left, why I am fighting, not just because of legal strategy, but because I need to say it. I need to tell the truth. Do it. Becca approved immediately. Write it, send it to me. I will release it with your name attached. Let the world hear from you directly. Let them see you are not the crazy wife Gregory claims. You are a mother protecting her child. After the call, Tori opened her laptop, started typing, deleted it, started again. The words came slowly at first, then faster, then in a flood. My name is Victoria Hayes. I am 30 years old. I am a new mother, and I am terrified of my husband. I met Gregory Hayes 5 years ago when I was 25. He was charming, successful, attentive. He swept me off my feet, proposed within 6 months, married me within a year. I thought I was the luckiest woman alive. I was wrong. My marriage was not a love story. It was a business transaction. I was an acquisition, young enough to control, naive enough to trust, pretty enough to display at charity events and family gatherings. I signed a prenuptial agreement I did not fully understand. I gave up my career. I gave up my independence. I gave up myself to become Mrs. Hayes. When I got pregnant, I thought it would change things, bring us closer, make us a real family. Instead, it made everything worse. Gregory became distant, cold, absent. He missed appointments, forgot milestones, showed little interest in my pregnancy beyond ensuring I followed his mother's instructions. I went into labor on February 14th, Valentine's Day. I called my husband 17 times. He did not answer. He arrived hours later smelling like hotel soap and perfume. He said traffic was bad. He lied. While I labored to bring his daughter into the world, Gregory was with his mistress. While I pushed through pain and fear, he was in a hotel room celebrating. While I held our newborn for the first time, he was planning his exit strategy. I found out 7 days after Eleanor was born, a text message with a photo. Evidence my husband spent our daughter's birth night with another woman. I could have survived the affair. People heal from infidelity every day, but what I found next destroyed any possibility of forgiveness. My husband has been planning to leave me since my second trimester. He has hidden millions of dollars. He accepted an offer to sell our home before Eleanor was born. He took out multiple life insurance policies on me. He planned to claim I was mentally unfit, to take Eleanor, to leave me with nothing. The prenup was designed to trap me. The timeline was calculated. The marriage was fraudulent from the start. I was never a wife. I was a vessel to carry the Hayes heir. Once my purpose was served, I became disposable. I left because I had no choice. I left because staying meant losing my daughter, possibly losing my life. I left because sometimes running is the only survival strategy available. I am not crazy. I am not unstable. I am not having a breakdown. I am a mother protecting her child from a man who sees her as property, who planned to destroy me, who has the resources and connections to make it happen. I am telling my story because Gregory Hayes will tell his version. He will say I am mentally ill, that I kidnapped our daughter, that I am dangerous and irrational and need intervention. He will use his money and his lawyers and his family name to paint himself as the victim. Do not believe him. Look at the evidence. Listen to the recordings. Read the financial documents. See the pattern of manipulation and control. See the trap he built. See the truth behind the charming smile and the perfect image. I am fighting for my daughter, for my life, for every woman who has been lied to and manipulated and trapped by someone who promised to love them. I am fighting because abuse does not always look like bruises. Sometimes it looks like prenuptial agreements and offshore bank accounts and life insurance policies. My name is Victoria Hayes. I am a survivor, and I will not be silenced. Tori sent it to Becca, held her breath, waited for doubt, waited for second guessing, waited for fear to take over. Instead, Becca called back within minutes. This is perfect. This is powerful. I am releasing it now, with your permission. Do it. The statement went live at noon. By 1 p.m., it was trending on legal Twitter. By 2 p.m., news outlets were picking it up. By 3 p.m., Victoria Hayes was no longer an anonymous wife. She was a name, a story, a woman fighting back against wealth and power. Helen showed her the responses. Thousands of comments, most supportive, some vicious. Many from women sharing their own stories, their own escapes, their own battles against men who seemed untouchable. You started something. Helen's voice was soft. You gave voice to something a lot of women feel but never say. I just told the truth. That is more than most people do, especially when the truth is dangerous. Tori's burner phone rang, unknown number. She answered. Mrs. Hayes, this is Diane Hayes. We need to talk. Woman to woman, mother to mother. We have nothing to talk about. Please. Diane's voice was brittle, strained. I want to see Eleanor. She is my granddaughter, my first grandchild. I have rights. Rights? Tori laughed. Harsh, bitter. You have rights to the granddaughter you barely looked at in the hospital? The baby you held like she was made of glass? The child you saw as Hayes' property instead of a human being? That is not fair. Life is not fair, Mrs. Hayes. Your son taught me that. He learned from the best. The statement you released, it is causing problems. For Gregory, for the family, for our reputation. Good. You need to retract it. Say you were emotional, postpartum, not thinking clearly. We can work something out. Financially, a settlement, generous, more than the prenup provides. Enough to start over, enough to be comfortable. Just retract the statement and agree to shared custody. How much? 10 million, cash. Today, you sign divorce papers, sign custody agreement, walk away, start over somewhere else. 10 million buys a lot of fresh starts. The amount was staggering. Life-changing. More money than Tori could make in multiple lifetimes. Freedom, security, independence. Everything she wanted, except Eleanor. No. 20D, Diane's voice rose. 20 million, final offer. Think about what you could do with that money. Think about Eleanor's future, the education, the opportunities, the life we can provide. You love her. I know you do. But love is not enough. She deserves more than struggle, more than scraped together survival. She deserves the Hayes family resources. You are trying to buy my daughter. I am trying to solve a problem. Gregory made mistakes. You were collateral damage. It is unfortunate. But Eleanor is a Hayes. She belongs with us. With legacy. With power. You can give her love. We can give her the world. Tori hung up, hands shaking. $20 million. $20 million to walk away from her daughter. $20 million to let the Hayes family erase her. Make her disappear. Make Eleanor grow up thinking her mother abandoned her. They are desperate. Helen read the situation correctly. The statement is working. You are damaging their reputation, their image, their control, so they are offering money. Buying your silence. Buying Eleanor. I almost took it, Tori admitted. For a second, I almost took it. But you did not, no. Because some things cannot be bought. Eleanor is not for sale. My truth is not for sale. My voice is not for sale. Good. Helen smiled, fierce, proud, because women who cannot be bought are the most dangerous kind. The next 2 days passed in a blur, feeding Eleanor, talking to Becca, reviewing evidence, preparing for court. The outside world felt far away but increasingly present. News vans appeared at the end of Helen's long driveway, reporters calling, requesting interviews, requesting comments from Gregory Hayes. He had not responded publicly. Remained silent while his lawyers issued statements about baseless allegations and emotional instability and violations of privacy. But the silence felt ominous. Gregory never stayed quiet when challenged, never backed down from a fight. His absence from the narrative meant he was planning something, building something, preparing to strike back with force. Becca warned her, "He will go after you in court. Character assassination, claims of mental illness, probably testimonials from his family about your instability. We need to be ready, need to stay calm, need to present you as credible, rational, the exact opposite of what he claims. I can do that. Can you?" Becca's voice was gentle but firm. "Can you sit in a courtroom with a man who betrayed you? The man who planned to destroy you? Can you stay calm while his lawyers call you crazy? While they try to paint you as an unfit mother? While they fight to take Eleanor?" "I have to, yes," Becca agreed, "you do. Because if you break down, if you lose control, if you give them any ammunition to support their narrative, we could lose. Eleanor could go to Gregory temporarily, and temporary has a way of becoming permanent." Tori looked at her daughter, 2 weeks old now, growing, changing, becoming more person and less newborn every day. Eleanor tracked faces now, made cooing sounds, smiled reflexively at voices she recognized. She knew her mother, trusted her mother, needed her mother. "I will not break." Tori promised herself as much as Becca. "I will not give them that satisfaction." The night before court, Tori could not sleep. Eleanor nursed at midnight, at 2 a.m., at 4 a.m., the constant feeding familiar now, comforting even, evidence of life continuing, of survival being possible, one feeding at a time. At 5 a.m., Helen found her sitting at the kitchen table, laptop open, reading comments on her statement, most supportive, some cruel, many from women sharing variations of her story. Different details, same pattern, different faces, same betrayal. "You should not read those." Helen gently closed the laptop. "Other people's stories will not help yours, but they are the same. That is what I cannot stop thinking about. How many women have lived this? How many have been trapped by prenups and power and men who see them as acquisitions? How many stayed because leaving seemed impossible? How many left but lost their children anyway? How many are still trapped right now?" "Too many." Helen sat beside her, took her hand. "Always too many, but you are not responsible for all of them. Only for yourself, only for Eleanor. If I win this, if I get out and keep Eleanor and survive, I want to help others. I want to be the voice that tells women they can leave. They can fight. They can win against impossible odds. Then win first. Help later. Right now, your job is to walk into that courtroom and show the judge who you really are, not who Gregory says you are, not who his lawyers paint you as, the real Victoria Hayes, the mother who loves her daughter enough to risk everything, the woman who found her strength when everything fell apart. What if it is not enough? Then we try again. But I have watched you these 2 weeks. I have seen you grow. I have seen you transform from terrified to determined, from victim to fighter. You are ready. You just need to trust yourself." Court was scheduled for 9 a.m. They left the cabin at 6, drove south through pre-dawn darkness, Eleanor sleeping in the car seat, peaceful, innocent, unaware her entire future was about to be decided by strangers in black robes. Tori watched the sun rise over frozen fields, thought about all the women throughout history who fought for their children against impossible odds, who stood up to power, who refused to be silenced. She came from a long line of survivors, Helen reminded her, women who did what was necessary, who found strength they did not know they had, who transformed pain into purpose. She could do this. She would do this. For Eleanor, for herself, for every woman who came after. The Cook County Courthouse loomed gray and imposing. Becca waited on the steps. Professional, confident, prepared. Are you ready? Tori looked at her daughter, at her mother, at her lawyer. 3 generations standing together, supporting each other, fighting together. I am ready. The courtroom was smaller than Tori expected. Wood paneling, high ceilings, fluorescent lights that made everything look harsh and unforgiving. Gregory sat at the defendant's table, 5 lawyers surrounding him, all male, all expensive, all radiating confidence. He looked good, rested, put together. The charming man she married, the man who could smile and lie simultaneously. He did not look at her, did not acknowledge Eleanor sleeping in the carrier beside Tori, did not show any emotion beyond polite attention. The performance had begun. Judge Patricia Warner entered. Woman in her 60s, gray hair pulled back, no-nonsense expression. She had seen everything, heard every excuse, believed no one until evidence proved otherwise. All rise. The bailiff's voice echoed. They stood, sat. The ritual of court, the ceremony that would decide Eleanor's fate. This is an emergency hearing for temporary custody in the matter of Hayes versus Hayes. Judge Warner looked at both parties over her reading glasses. Petitioner is requesting emergency custody of the minor child Eleanor Hayes based on allegations of marital fraud, financial malfeasance, and potential danger to the mother. Respondent is contesting. Let us begin. Becca stood, professional, prepared, handed a binder to the judge. Your Honor, I represent Victoria Hayes. We have substantial evidence showing Gregory Hayes engaged in systematic fraud throughout the marriage. Evidence of an affair throughout Mrs. Hayes' pregnancy. Evidence of deliberate asset hiding. Evidence of suspicious life insurance policies. And most damning, recordings of Mr. Hayes planning to have his wife declared mentally unfit to steal custody of their newborn daughter. The judge flipped through the binder, face impassive, reading, absorbing, occasionally making notes. Gregory's lead attorney stood. James Keller, 60, silver hair, gravitas purchased by decades of defending wealthy men. Your Honor, these allegations are the product of postpartum psychosis. Mrs. Hayes is clearly unwell. She has kidnapped the couple's newborn daughter, refused to reveal her location, made wild accusations against a devoted husband and father. Mr. Hayes is deeply concerned for his wife's mental health and his daughter's safety. He requests immediate return of the child and court-ordered psychiatric evaluation for Mrs. Hayes. Kidnapped, Tori whispered to Becca. I am her mother. They are establishing narrative, Becca whispered back. Stay calm. Let me handle this. Judge Warner set down the binder, looked at both parties. I have reviewed the initial filings. The allegations are serious. The evidence appears substantial. But I need to hear testimony before making any determinations. Mrs. Hayes, you will testify first. Tori stood on shaking legs, walked to the witness stand, placed her hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help her God. Becca approached, gentle, guiding. Mrs. Hayes, please tell the court why you left your marital home on February 21st. I discovered my husband was having an affair. Throughout my pregnancy, including the night I gave birth, I found hotel receipts, emails, calendar entries showing he was with his mistress while I was in labor. I confronted the evidence, read the prenuptial agreement, understood the timing was calculated, that I was trapped. So I left to protect myself and my daughter. Where did you go? To my mother's property in Wisconsin, a safe place where I could process what happened and decide what to do next. Did you prevent Mr. Hayes from knowing Eleanor was safe? No, I did not respond to his calls, but my mother spoke with his investigator. Confirmed we were safe. I was not hiding Eleanor from her father. I was protecting her from a dangerous situation. Objection. Keller stood, assuming facts, not in evidence. There is no proof Mr. Hayes poses any danger. Sustained. Judge Warner looked at Becca. Rephrase. Mrs. Hayes, did you feel you and Eleanor were in danger? Yes. After finding evidence, my husband hid assets, took out large life insurance policies on me, planned to claim I was mentally unfit, after learning the prenup was designed to leave me with nothing. Yes, I felt we were in danger, maybe not immediate physical danger, but legal danger, financial danger, danger of losing my daughter, danger of being trapped with no escape. Gregory shifted in his seat, face still impassive, but something in his eyes. Calculation, assessment, and planning his response. Keller cross-examined. Mrs. Hayes, how long had you been planning to leave your husband? I was not planning to leave. I left when I discovered the affair. But you left very quickly, within hours of your alleged discovery, almost like you had a plan in place, a destination prepared, almost like you were looking for an excuse to abandon your marriage. I did not abandon my marriage. My marriage was a lie from the beginning. And yes, I left quickly, because staying one more day felt dangerous. Dangerous how? Did your husband ever hit you? No. Threaten you? Not directly. Harm your child? Not physically. So this danger is all in your mind. All speculation based on documents you interpreted in the most negative possible light while experiencing postpartum hormones. Objection. Becca stood, badgering the witness, and assuming postpartum hormones make women incapable of rational thought. Sustained. Judge Warner looked at Keller. Watch your tone, counselor. The questioning continued. Keller trying to paint Tori as unstable, irrational, a woman who overreacted to normal marital problems, a new mother whose hormones made her paranoid. Tori stayed calm, answered each question directly, did not rise to the bait, did not give them ammunition, just spoke her truth clearly, simply, letting the facts stand on their own. Then Becca called her first witness, Rebecca Sullivan, Tori's friend, her lawyer, her advocate. Becca walked through the financial evidence systematically, bank records showing Gregory moving millions, asset transfers, offshore accounts, the house sale in progress. The prenup clauses that trapped Tori, the timeline showing calculation and planning. This was not a marriage. This was fraud. Becca's voice was clear, certain. Gregory Hayes chose a young woman he could manipulate, got her pregnant within the prenup time frame, planned his exit to maximize his assets and minimize her rights. This is not speculation. This is documented fact. Keller cross-examined, tried to suggest Becca was biased, that she manipulated her friend, that she was building a case based on assumptions and innuendo. But the numbers did not lie. The evidence spoke louder than spin. Then came the moment everyone was waiting for. We call Amber Cartwright. The courtroom stirred. Whispers. Interest. The mistress was testifying. Against Gregory. The narrative was fracturing. Amber walked to the stand, young, nervous, but determined. She wore a simple dress, minimal makeup, looked like a college student, not a homewrecker, not a villain, just a young woman who made mistakes. Miss Cartwright, how did you meet Gregory Hayes? He hired me at his real estate firm 18 months ago. I was 24, straight out of business school. He was my boss, mentor. He took interest in my career, my development. I was flattered, grateful. Then it became more. More how? He said his marriage was over. That he stayed for appearances, but he did not love his wife anymore. That once she gave birth and the prenup period ended, he would divorce her and we would be together. He made me believe I was special, chosen, the real love of his life. What changed? I found documents in his office, plans to have Mrs. Hayes committed, to claim she was an unfit mother, to take Eleanor and the assets and leave his wife with nothing. I realized I was not special. I was a pawn, and if he could do this to his wife, he could do it to me. Do you have proof of these plans? Yes, I recorded our conversations for 3 months. Insurance in case Gregory did not follow through on his promises. Now I want those recordings used to stop him from hurting anyone else. Becca played the recordings. Gregory's voice filled the courtroom. Clear, unmistakable, damning. Once the prenup period ends, I will file. Claim postpartum psychosis. Get temporary custody. She will fall apart. Make it easy. Then permanent custody. She gets nothing. I keep Eleanor. Control the trust funds. Everything stays in the family. The courtroom went silent. Even Keller looked sick. Gregory's face had gone gray. Judge Warner removed her glasses, stared at Gregory, then at Tori holding Eleanor, then back at Gregory. Mr. Hayes, In 30 years on this bench, I have seen many things, but this level of premeditation, this level of calculated cruelty toward your wife, the mother of your infant daughter, I am appalled. Your Honor, if I may explain. Gregory stood. Sit down. Judge Warner's voice cracked like a whip. You will speak when spoken to. She turned to Keller. Does your client wish to contest the evidence? Claim the recordings are fabricated? Suggest some alternative explanation for planning to declare his wife mentally unfit? Keller looked at Gregory. Some silent communication passed between them. Finally, Keller spoke. We request a recess to confer with our client. Denied. Judge Warner shuffled papers. I have heard enough. I am ruling from the bench. The courtroom held its breath. Temporary custody is awarded to Victoria Hayes. Mr. Hayes will have supervised visitation only. 2 hours per week pending psychological evaluation. Assets are frozen pending full disclosure and forensic accounting. This marriage is dissolved immediately. The prenuptial agreement is invalidated due to fraud. Furthermore, Judge Warner's voice hardened, I am referring this matter to the State Insurance Commissioner. The policies taken out on Mrs. Hayes will be investigated for potential fraud. If criminal intent is found, I will expect charges to be filed. The gavel came down, sharp, final, decisive. We are adjourned. Tori sat frozen. Had she heard correctly? Did she win? Was Eleanor safe? Becca grabbed her hand, squeezed hard. We won. You won. Eleanor is yours. The courtroom erupted, reporters rushing out to file stories, Gregory's lawyers surrounding him. Damage control mode. Helen crying quietly in the back row. Tori looked at Eleanor, her daughter sleeping through the most important day of her life, safe, protected. Hers. Gregory finally looked at her. Across the courtroom, no more charm, no more performance, just rage, cold, calculating, dangerous, but it did not matter. The judge ruled. The evidence spoke. The truth won. For now. 3 months after the court ruling, Tori stood in her new apartment. Nothing fancy. 2 bedrooms in a good neighborhood near Wicker Park. Her name on the lease, her furniture, her life. Eleanor was 4 months old now. Smiling, laughing, rolling over, growing, thriving. No idea how close they came to losing everything. How hard her mother fought. How much changed in those first terrifying weeks. The settlement took weeks to finalize. Gregory fought every point. His family hired new lawyers, tried different tactics, threatened appeals, threatened to drag everything through years of litigation. But Amber's recordings held. The insurance investigation proceeded. The forensic accountants found more hidden assets, more fraud, more evidence of calculated deception. Final settlement came in April. The house sold, half to Tori, plus child support, plus Eleanor's trust fund under Tori's control, plus compensation for the fraudulent prenup, plus penalties for the asset hiding. Not 20 million, but enough to start over, enough to raise Eleanor, enough to be free. Gregory got supervised visitation twice monthly, showed up late usually, left early, barely interacted with Eleanor. The reality of fatherhood without the appearance of perfect family. He hated it, resented it, blamed Tori for destroying his reputation. But he could not hurt her anymore, could not control her, could not take Eleanor. The court had spoken. The evidence was public. The Hayes family name was tarnished, maybe permanently. Tori stood at her apartment window. Eleanor sleeping in the crib behind her. The view showed no lake, no mansions, just city streets, regular people, regular lives, normal existence. She missed nothing about Lincoln Park, nothing about the Hayes house, nothing about that beautiful cage. Her phone buzzed, text from Becca. Dinner this week? Want to hear about the new case I am working on? Another prenup situation, another woman trapped. The work was starting, the purpose emerging from the pain. Becca was building a practice around prenuptial fraud, using Tori's case as precedent, using the publicity to attract other women in similar situations, other beautiful cages, other calculated traps. Tori replied, definitely. Thursday? My place. I will cook. She could cook now, her own food, in her own kitchen, following her own preferences. Simple pleasure she never appreciated before. The freedom to choose, to decide. to exist without performance. Helen visited 3 times a week, brought groceries, played with Eleanor, watched Tori parent and did not offer advice unless asked. "You are good at this," Helen said one evening. Eleanor on a playmat, reaching for toys, being a mother. "I had a good teacher. You are better than me. I was so angry when your father died, so bitter. I gave you stability, but not joy. You give Eleanor both." Tori thought about anger, about bitterness, about how easily she could have become that, how close she came to letting Gregory's betrayal define her, shape her, destroy who she was becoming. But Eleanor's smile stopped that thought. Pure joy, uncomplicated love. Trust that the world was safe because Mommy was here. Mommy survived. Mommy was strong. "I almost stayed," Tori admitted. "That morning when I called you, I almost decided to endure it, for Eleanor's sake, to give her an intact family. But you did not. No, I realize an intact family where Mommy is destroyed is not intact. It is a beautiful prison. And I did not want to teach my daughter to accept beautiful prisons." Helen hugged her, fierce, proud. "You are breaking cycles, showing Eleanor something different, something better. That is the greatest gift a mother can give." Work calls came regularly now, marketing firms wanting her back, consulting opportunities, chances to rebuild the career she abandoned for Gregory, for the illusion of being taken care of, the myth that giving up yourself was proof of love. She started slowly, freelance projects, remote work, things she could do while Eleanor napped, while establishing routine, while healing. The work felt different now, sharper, more purposeful. She understood manipulation better after surviving Gregory. Understood how stories were built, how narratives were controlled, how perception became reality if you were wealthy enough, powerful enough, connected enough. But she also understood how truth could break through, how evidence could speak louder than spin, how courage could challenge power and win. One afternoon, Diane Hayes called. Tori almost did not answer, almost blocked the number, but something made her pick up. "Victoria, it is Diane. I am calling to apologize." The words hung in the air, unexpected, possibly insincere, but surprising nonetheless. "Apologize for what specifically? For not protecting you? For choosing my son over what was right? For enabling his behavior? For making you feel like you were the problem when the problem was Gregory and Malcolm? And the Hayes family values that taught my son women were possessions. That marriage was a business transaction. That love was weakness. Why are you telling me this? Because I have been living with those same values for 40 years, been controlled by them, shaped by them. And watching you fight back, watching you escape, watching you win, it made me realize something. I am 70 years old, and I have never been as brave as you were at 30, Diane. I do not know what to say. You do not have to say anything. I just needed you to know. Not all of us thought Gregory was right. Not all of us wanted to destroy you. Some of us were just too cowardly to speak up, too comfortable in our cages to recognize them as cages. Thank you." Tori meant it. That took courage, not as much as leaving did. After the call ended, Tori sat with it, with the complexity of family systems, with the reality that abusers are raised, not born, that Diane was probably once young and trusting too, before Malcolm, before the Hayes family machine, before she learned to survive by compliance. Generational trauma was real. Generational change was possible. But it required someone to break the cycle, to say no, to choose differently. Tori was that someone. For Eleanor, for herself, for all the daughters who came after. The afternoon sun slanted through the window, golden, warm. Eleanor woke from her nap. Happy sounds, ready to play, ready to eat, ready to engage with the world. Tori lifted her daughter, carried her to the window, pointed to the city. "Someday you will ask about your father, about what happened, about why we left, and I will tell you the truth. Age appropriately, but the truth that sometimes leaving is the bravest thing you can do, that starting over with nothing is better than staying with everything, that you are worth fighting for, worth running for, worth rebuilding an entire life for." Eleanor grabbed Tori's face, baby hands clumsy but strong, pulled herself close, rested her head on Tori's shoulder. trust, complete, absolute. She did not know how close they came to disaster. She only knew Mommy was here. Mommy was safe. Mommy loved her. That was enough. That would always be enough. Becca visited that week, brought wine Tori could drink again. Eleanor on solids now, breastfeeding done, another chapter closed, another milestone reached. You ever regret it? Becca asked. Running, fighting, all of it. You could have taken Malcolm's 20 million, been set for life, and lost Eleanor? Lost myself? Some prices are too high. You are different now, stronger. No, Tori shook her head. I was always this strong, I just did not know it. Gregory did not create my weakness. He revealed my strength by forcing me to use it. They drank wine in comfortable silence. Eleanor asleep in the nursery, city sounds outside, traffic, sirens, life happening everywhere. Normal life, regular life. The life Tori thought she was too special for when Gregory chose her at 25. When he made her feel lucky, chosen, elevated above the ordinary existence of regular people. Turns out regular life was the prize, not the consolation. Freedom to choose her own path, freedom to make mistakes, freedom to succeed or fail on her own terms, freedom to be imperfect and messy and real. That was what Gregory took. Not her dignity, not her worth, just her freedom to choose. And once she took it back, once she reclaimed that basic human right, everything else fell into place. Messages came regularly from women who read her story, who saw themselves in her experience, who were planning their own escapes, building their own cases, finding their own courage. Thank you for speaking up. One message read, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was crazy for thinking my prenup was a trap. Your story gave me permission to trust my instincts, to investigate, to prepare. I am leaving next month, taking my kids, starting over, because of you. The messages broke her heart and healed it simultaneously. So many women trapped, so many beautiful cages, so many Gregory Hayes variations. Different names, different faces, same pattern, same control, same calculated cruelty, but also so many women finding strength, finding resources, finding each other, building networks of support and information and escape routes, making it easier for the next woman and the next. And the next, Tori started speaking. Small groups at first, women's shelters, legal aid clinics, law school classes on family law, sharing her story, sharing resources, sharing hope. The speaking was hard, reliving the trauma, exposing her vulnerability, making herself visible when part of her wanted to stay hidden, stay safe, stay small. But Eleanor needed her to be big, needed her to be brave, needed her to show that survival was possible, that fighting was worth it, that women could challenge power and win. 1 year after Eleanor's birth, the final custody hearing arrived. Tori walked into the same courtroom, same judge, same wooden benches, different woman sitting at the plaintiff's table. Gregory's visitation record was poor. Multiple missed appointments, complaints about distraction during visits, clear lack of interest beyond legal obligation. He remarried already, not Amber, someone else. Another young woman, another 5-year plan probably. Tori did not care. Tori did not follow, did not wonder. That life was done. That chapter closed. She was writing new pages now, better pages, true pages. Judge Warner looked older, tired, but her eyes lit up when she saw Eleanor. Walking now, talking, Mama, her favorite word. Mr. Hayes, do you wish to petition for increased custody? Gregory looked at his daughter. Eleanor did not look back, did not reach for him, did not cry when he was mentioned. No bond, no connection, just biological relation. No, Your Honor. His voice was flat, defeated. I think the current arrangement is sufficient. Translation, I give up. The daughter I wanted as an heir requires actual parenting. I am not interested. Judge Warner looked sad, disappointed in humanity, but not surprised. Mrs. Hayes, your petition for primary legal and physical custody is granted. Mr. Hayes retains visitation rights, but they are no longer supervised. You are both dismissed. Outside the courthouse, Eleanor on Tori's hip, Helen beside them, sunshine breaking through Chicago clouds. Spring arriving, winter ending, new season beginning. We are free, Tori said. Completely. Finally. Free. Eleanor reached for the sky, laughed, pointed. Birdie, mama, birdie, joy. Simple, pure, uncomplicated. The only thing that ever mattered. 2 years after leaving Gregory, Tori sat in her home office. Eleanor was 3 now, preschool 5 days a week, dance class on Thursdays, swimming on Saturdays, normal childhood, safe childhood, loved childhood. The marketing consultancy was thriving. Her own business, flexible hours, clients who respected her expertise, income that was hers, not Gregory's, not dependent on anyone else's generosity or control. She specialized now, helped women entrepreneurs build their brands, tell their stories, find their voices in markets dominated by men. The work felt purposeful, connected to her own journey, her own transformation from silenced wife to speaking survivor. Eleanor burst through the door, home from preschool with Helen, who did pickup twice a week, gave Tori time to work, gave Eleanor time with Grandma, gave everyone breathing room. Mama, look what I made. Eleanor held up a painting, purple and pink and orange, abstract, chaotic, perfect. That is beautiful, baby. What is it? It is us. Eleanor pointed. That is you. That is me. That is Grandma. We are at the park with the birds. Tori's chest tightened. The painting showed 3 figures, hand in hand, surrounded by color, by light, by joy. No empty spaces for people who were not there. No questions about missing fathers. Just the family that existed. Complete. Whole. I love it. We will hang it in the kitchen, right where we can see it every day. Gregory was not part of Eleanor's daily life. Visited once a month now, sometimes less, made excuses, had travel, had work, had a new wife who was pregnant, another child coming, another heir. Maybe this one would get the father Eleanor never had. Eleanor did not seem to notice, did not ask about daddy, did not wonder why other kids had fathers who showed up. She had mama, had grandma, had a full life. That was enough. The phone rang. Becca's number. I have someone who wants to meet you, a potential client. Her story is similar to yours. Prenup, wealthy husband, suspicions of financial hiding. She is scared, unsure, needs to talk to someone who survived it. Send her my information. I will meet her whenever she is ready. This was the work now, not just surviving, but helping others survive. Being the voice she wished she had heard when she was pregnant and confused and starting to suspect something was wrong. That evening, Tori made dinner. Simple pasta with vegetables, Eleanor's favorite. Helen stayed, the 3 generations eating together, talking, laughing, living. Mama, why don't I have a daddy? Eleanor asked suddenly, between bites of pasta, casual, like asking about the weather. Tori's heart stopped. She knew this question would come, prepared for it. But preparation did not make it easier. You have a daddy, he just does not live with us. Some families live together. Some families live apart. Both are okay, but why doesn't he live with us? Because mama and daddy were not good together. We made each other unhappy, so we decided to live separately. But that does not mean you are not loved. You are so loved by me, by grandma, by so many people. Eleanor thought about this. 3-year-old brain processing complex adult realities. Okay, did you ever love daddy? I thought I did, but I loved the person I thought he was, not who he really was. That is an important difference. What is he really? Tori chose her words carefully. Honestly, age appropriately, he is someone who makes choices with one I don't agree with. Someone who hurt me, but he is also your biological father. And when you are older, if you want to know him, I will never stop you. That will be your choice, always your choice. I choose you, Eleanor said simply. You are my favorite. You are my favorite too. After dinner, after bath time, after stories and songs, and the elaborate bedtime routine, Tori sat in her home office again, laptop open and working on a presentation for a women's business conference next month. The presentation was about finding your voice, about trusting your instincts, about recognizing when something feels wrong, even if everyone tells you it is fine, about survival strategies for women in controlling relationships, about rebuilding after escape. She thought about who she was 5 years ago, 25 and in love, signing documents she did not understand, giving up her career, her independence, herself, all for a man who saw her as property, as investment, as tool to achieve his goals. That woman felt like a stranger now. Someone Tori remembered but could barely recognize. The transformation was complete. The chrysalis dissolved. The butterfly emerged, not perfect, not healed completely, still moments of fear, still triggers that sent her heart racing. Still nights when she woke up checking door locks, checking windows, making sure they were safe. Trauma did not disappear. It just became manageable, integrated. Part of her story, but not the whole story, not the defining story. Her phone buzzed. Email from the woman Becca mentioned. Can we meet tomorrow? I think my husband is planning something. I found insurance policies, bank statements. I am scared. Tori replied immediately. Yes, tell me when and where. I will be there. This was why she survived. Not just for herself, not just for Eleanor, but for all the women who came after, who needed someone to say, you are not crazy, you are not overreacting. Trust your instincts. Make your plan. Get out safely. I will help you. The next morning, Tori met the woman at a coffee shop far from downtown, far from places she might be seen. The woman was younger, maybe 27, pregnant, terrified, trying to hide it behind sunglasses and a careful smile. Her name was Sarah. She was 6 months pregnant, married 3 years, just discovered her husband was moving money, taking out insurance policies, making plans that did not include her surviving. I sound paranoid. Sarah's hands shook around her coffee cup. Everyone says I am being hormonal, emotional, that pregnancy is making me irrational. But the numbers don't lie. The policies are real. The offshore accounts exist. And when I found them, when I confronted him, he looked at me with such cold calculation. Like I was a problem to solve. Not a person, not his wife, just an obstacle. You are not paranoid. Tori took her hand. You are paying attention. That is different. That is survival. What do? I have no money of my own, no family nearby, no job. I gave up everything for him, just like you did. And now I am trapped. You are not trapped. You feel trapped. That is different. Feeling trapped is the first step to recognizing the cage. Recognizing the cage is the first step to escape. Tori spent 2 hours with Sarah, gave her Becca's information, gave her resources for safe houses, for legal aid, for women's shelters, for support groups, drew her a roadmap, not prescriptive, not demanding, just possibilities, options, paths forward. You survived, Sarah said at the end. Her voice was wonder. You got out and you survived, and you are thriving. That means I can too. You can. But Sarah, you need to understand, the surviving is brutal. The escape is terrifying. The rebuilding is exhausting. There will be moments when you want to give up, when the cage looks better than the wilderness, when you doubt everything, including yourself. What did you do in those moments? I looked at my daughter. Tori pulled up a photo of Eleanor. I remembered why I left, and I took one more breath, one more step, one more day, until the strength became real instead of performance. Sarah left with Tori's phone number, with resources, with hope. Tori watched her walk away, still pregnant, still scared, but planning now, preparing, building her escape route. Another woman waking up, another beautiful cage being recognized, another Gregory Hayes losing control. Tori drove home thinking about the pattern. How many men like Gregory existed? How many used prenups as traps? How many hid assets and took out insurance policies and planned exits that destroyed their wives? How many women never saw it coming until too late? The numbers were staggering, Becca told her once. Thousands of women trapped in fraudulent prenups. Thousands more in marriages where financial control equaled abuse, where isolation equaled strategy, where the appearance of love hid calculated manipulation. But the numbers of women escaping were growing too. Networks forming, resources multiplying, stories being shared, precedents being set. Tori's case was not unique anymore. Other women were winning. Other judges were recognizing the pattern. Other lawyers were specializing in prenuptial fraud. Change was happening, slowly, painfully, but happening. That afternoon, Tori recorded a podcast interview, a legal podcast about family law, about her case, about the precedent it set, about how other women could protect themselves. The host asked the question everyone asked: do you regret marrying him, knowing what you know now? Tori thought about it, really thought. Not the easy answer, the true answer. No, I don't regret it, because marrying Gregory led to Eleanor. And Eleanor is the best thing that ever happened to me. Also, I don't regret it because that marriage taught me things I needed to learn. About myself, about trust, about strength I did not know I had. Would I choose it again? No. But do I regret the path that led me here? To this life? This freedom? This version of myself? No. I don't regret that. That is remarkably compassionate. The host sounded surprised. It is not compassion. It is acceptance. I cannot change the past. I can only integrate it, learn from it, use it to help others. Regret keeps you stuck in what was. Acceptance lets you move into what is. And what comes next? What does come next for you? Tori smiled. More work, more speaking, more helping women escape, more building the life I want instead of the life someone else designed, more teaching Eleanor that women are not property, that marriage is partnership, not ownership, that love without control is possible, that she deserves respect and honesty and freedom, always freedom. After the podcast, Tori picked up Eleanor from preschool. Her daughter ran to her, arms wide, face bright. Mama, guess what? We learned about butterflies today. They start as caterpillars and then they change into something beautiful. That is called metamorphosis. Tori knelt down, hugged her daughter. It is when something transforms into what it was always meant to be, like magic, like survival. That night, Tori opened her journal. The therapist still recommended it. Processing, recording, making sense of the journey. She wrote regularly now, not just about trauma, about joy too, about Eleanor's milestones, about small victories, about life being built one day at a time. She wrote, I learned something in the fire, something I could not have learned in comfort. My strength was never in him, never in his name, never in his money, never in the life he offered. My strength was always mine. He did not give it. He could not take it. He could only reveal it by making me choose between the life I knew and the life I deserved. I chose deserving. I chose truth. I chose freedom. I chose Eleanor. I chose me, and I would choose it again. Every time, even knowing how hard it would be, even knowing what I would lose, because what I gained, my self-respect, my daughter's respect someday when she understands, my actual life instead of performed life, that is worth everything, worth the pain, worth the fear, worth starting over, worth the brutal transformation. Some women never find their own strength. They live their whole lives in beautiful cages, never knowing they could fly, never testing the bars, never discovering the door was unlocked all along. I know now, I can fly. We both can, and we will. She closed the journal, checked Eleanor's monitor, her daughter sleeping peacefully. Safe, loved, free to become whoever she wanted, not who her father's family expected, not who tradition demanded, just herself, fully, completely. Tori walked to the window, looked out at the city, lights glowing, life happening, millions of people living their stories, some trapped, some escaping, some already free, all connected by the shared experience of being human, of surviving, of choosing. Her phone buzzed. Text from Sarah. I am leaving tomorrow. My mom is driving from Ohio to get me. I told him I am visiting family. He believed me. I am scared, but I am doing it. Thank you for showing me it was possible. Tori typed back, you are already brave. You already survived the hardest part. Recognizing the truth. Now you just take the next step. And the next. I am here if you need me. You are not alone. Another woman leaving. Another life being saved. Another daughter being protected. The ripple spreading. The pattern breaking. The cycle ending. This was the work. This was the purpose. This was why surviving mattered. Not just for yourself, For everyone who came after, for the women who needed proof that escape was possible, that single motherhood was survivable, that starting over was not giving up, it was leveling up. The next morning brought surprise. A letter, hand-delivered by courier. Law firm letterhead, Gregory's lawyers. Tori opened it with steady hands, no fear anymore. Just curiosity. What could he possibly want now? What final move was he planning? The letter was short, formal, cold. Dear Mrs. Hayes, our client Gregory Hayes wishes to terminate all parental rights to the minor child Eleanor Hayes. He is willing to sign away all custody, visitation, and decision-making authority. In exchange, he requests elimination of all child support obligations and a confidentiality agreement preventing you from speaking publicly about him or your marriage. Please advise if these terms are acceptable. Tori read it twice, 3 times, trying to understand. Gregory was giving up Eleanor completely, walking away, erasing his daughter from his life, for money, for reputation, for the ability to pretend she never existed. She called Becca immediately. He wants to terminate parental rights, I saw. They sent me the same letter. Becca's voice was tight, angry. What do you want to do? I want to protect Eleanor. If he does not want to be her father, I don't want to force him. Forced fatherhood helps no one. But I won't sign a confidentiality agreement. My story is not for sale. Other women need to know what happened, what to watch for, how to escape. We can negotiate, keep the parental rights termination, refuse the confidentiality clause. If he wants out badly enough, he will agree. Do it. The negotiation took a week. Gregory's lawyers pushed hard for confidentiality, offered more money, offered complete financial separation, offered everything except letting Tori keep her voice. She refused every offer. My story is not negotiable. My voice is not for sale. If Gregory wants to abandon his daughter, that is his choice. But he does not get to silence me in the process. Finally, his lawyers relented. Termination of parental rights without confidentiality. Gregory would pay 5 years of child support in a lump sum. Then his obligations ended. His name would remain on Eleanor's birth certificate, but he would have no rights, no custody, no visitation, no voice in Eleanor's life. Done. Complete. Over. Tori signed the papers with mixed emotions. Relief that Gregory could never use Eleanor as leverage, never show up demanding visitation when it suited him, never disrupt their lives with his Kate, but also sadness. For Eleanor, who would grow up with a father who chose to walk away, who would someday have to process that rejection, who would ask why Daddy did not love her enough to stay. That pain was coming, inevitable, but at least it would come in a safe home, with a mother who loved her completely, with a grandmother who adored her, with a life built on truth instead of lies. At 3 years old, Eleanor did not understand what the papers meant, did not know her father just signed her away. She only knew Mama was there. Grandma was there. Her life was good. That was enough for now. Later would come later. And when it did, Tori would be honest. Age appropriate, but honest. Your father made choices I cannot defend, but those choices are about him, not about you. You are lovable, worthy, enough. His inability to see that is his loss, not your failure. The official termination came through in August, 3 years and 6 months after Eleanor's birth, 3 years and 6 months of fighting, of surviving, of transforming. Helen brought champagne, the good stuff. They sat on Tori's balcony, Eleanor asleep inside. The city stretched below them, alive, vibrant, full of possibility, to freedom. Helen raised her glass, to survival. Tori clinking glasses, to the women who come after. Becca added from the phone on speaker, may they have easier paths because you made this one. They drank in comfortable silence. 3 women who fought different battles, different enemies, different decades, same war. The war for autonomy, for voice, for the right to exist outside someone else's control. I got an email today, Tori broke the silence, from a law professor at Northwestern. She wants to teach a class on prenuptial fraud. Use my case as the primary example. Invite me to speak to her students. Will you do it? Yes, because those students will become lawyers, judges, legislators. If even one of them recognizes the pattern, stops it, protects a woman, then everything was worth it. Everything was already worth it. Helen looked at her daughter with fierce pride. You survived. You saved Eleanor. You found yourself. That alone makes everything worth it. Tori thought about who she was 3 years ago, 30 years old and pregnant, and slowly realizing her marriage was a trap. Terrified, trapped, trusting no one, believing she was crazy, believing the gaslighting, believing she deserved what was happening. That woman seemed like a stranger, someone from another life, another timeline, another universe where Tori stayed and slowly dissolved until nothing remained but performance. But the appearance of Mrs. Gregory Hayes, empty, controlled, dead inside while still breathing. But she did not stay. She ran. She fought. She survived. And in surviving, she became more herself than she ever was before. More honest, more strong, more free. The transformation was complete. The butterfly emerged, and she was flying. They both were. 5 years after leaving Gregory, Tori stood on stage at a women's conference. 500 women in the audience. Survivors, fighters, women building businesses and lives and futures on their own terms. Eleanor was 5 now, kindergarten, reading, writing her name, full of questions and energy and opinions, a complete person, forming her own identity, untouched by her father's rejection because she never knew anything else. Her family was mama and grandma, and the life they built. Complete, whole, enough. The moderator introduced Tori, gave her background, told her story in broad strokes. The prenup, the betrayal, the escape, the legal battle, the victory. Each sentence brought nods from the audience, recognition, shared experience, different details, same pattern. Tori stepped to the microphone, looked at 500 faces, 500 women who knew, who understood, who survived their own versions. 5 years ago, I was terrified. She began. I left my marriage with a newborn baby. No money, no plan beyond survive today. Figure out tomorrow when it comes. I did not know if I would make it, if Eleanor would be safe, if fighting was worth the cost. Today I can tell you, fighting was worth it. Every terrifying moment, every legal battle, every night wondering if I made the right choice. Worth it, because my daughter is free. I am free. And that freedom is the foundation everything else is built on. She told her story, not the whole thing, that would take hours, but the important parts, the red flags she ignored, the instincts she dismissed, the moment she knew she had to leave, the support that saved her, the evidence that protected her, the system that worked, barely, but worked. I'm not special. Tori's voice was firm, clear. I am not uniquely strong. I am not different from anyone in this room. I was just a woman who got scared enough to run, smart enough to document, lucky enough to have support. The system protected me, but the system fails so many others. We cannot rely on luck. We have to change the system, make it easier for the next woman, and the next, and the next. The applause was thunderous. Women standing, crying, recognizing themselves in Tori's story, finding hope in her survival, finding courage in her voice. After the speech, women lined up to talk to her, to share their stories, to ask advice, to say thank you. Hours of conversation, hours of connection, hours of holding space for other women's pain and triumph and ongoing battles. One woman near the end of the line was very young, maybe 23, not pregnant, not married yet, but smart, planning ahead. My boyfriend proposed last night. She showed Tori the ring. Small, sweet. I love him. But he wants a prenup. His family has money. I understand why. But how do I know it is fair? How do I know I am not signing away my future? Read it carefully. Tori took her hands. Do not sign anything without your own lawyer. Not his family's lawyer. Yours. Someone who represents your interests, not his. And if the prenup has time clauses or custody clauses or anything that makes you uncomfortable, do not sign. A good partner will negotiate, We'll compromise, we'll respect your needs. A bad partner will pressure, will rush, will make you feel unreasonable for protecting yourself. What if he gets angry? What if asking for changes ruins things? Then the relationship was not strong enough to survive marriage anyway. Tori said gently, marriage is partnership. If you cannot negotiate a contract as equals, you cannot build a life as equals. His anger at reasonable requests is information. Pay attention to it. The young woman nodded, wiped her eyes. Thank you, I almost signed it yesterday. He said it was standard, that everyone does it, that I was being paranoid for worrying. Trust your instincts, always. Even when everyone tells you you are wrong, especially then. Your instincts are survival mechanisms. They know things your conscious mind has not processed yet. After the conference, Tori took the train home. Exhausted, energized. The duality of difficult work, draining and fulfilling simultaneously. She thought about all the conversations, all the women, all the stories. The pattern repeated endlessly. Different faces, different names, different details, same core truth. Women were taught to trust, men were taught to acquire. The collision created casualties. Unless women learned to trust themselves more than they trusted charming men with promises, unless women protected themselves first, loved carefully, questioned generously, not cynicism, wisdom, knowing the difference between love and control, between partnership and ownership, between safety and beautiful cages. Eleanor was at Helen's, weekly overnight, gave Tori space to work, gave Eleanor time with Grandma, gave both of them breathing room. The apartment was quiet without her daughter. Strange, empty, but also peaceful. Tori poured wine, ordered takeout, sat on the couch in comfortable clothes. Simple pleasures, adult pleasures, the luxury of choosing how to spend her evening. She opened her laptop, checked email. One message stood out. Subject line, thank you. It was from Sarah, the pregnant woman Tori met 2 years ago, the one who left her husband with her mother's help, started over in Ohio, had her baby safely, filed for divorce. 1. The email included photos. A little girl, maybe 18 months old, smiling, happy, healthy, growing in a home without fear, without control, without danger. Sarah's message was short. We made it because you showed me it was possible, because you survived first. Now I am paying it forward, helping other women, building a support network in my community, changing the pattern, breaking the cycle. Thank you for being the voice I needed when I had none. Tori cried, good tears, healing tears, tears that released something she had been holding, proof that surviving mattered beyond her own life, beyond Eleanor, ripples spreading, circles expanding, change happening. Her phone rang, unknown number. She almost did not answer. But something made her. Victoria Hayes? My voice, voice. Older, unfamiliar. Yes. Who is this? My name is David Morrison. I am calling from the Midwest Family Law Association. We would like to offer you a position. Advocacy Director, working with legislators to reform prenuptial laws. Close loopholes. Protect vulnerable parties. Make the system work better. The position would involve traveling, speaking, testifying, using your story to change laws. Would you be interested? Tori sat very still, processing, a job offer, doing the work she was already doing, but officially, with resources, with platform, with power to make real change. Can I think about it? Of course. Take your time. We would love to have you. Your voice matters. Your experience matters. Your survival matters. To so many people. After the call, Tori sat in darkness, just thinking, feeling, letting the possibilities settle. A new path, a new purpose, a new way to use what happened to her, to transform pain into policy, trauma into legislation, survival into systemic change. Eleanor came home the next morning, burst through the door like sunshine. Mama, Grandma taught me to make pancakes, real ones, with blueberries. Can we make them every Saturday? Absolutely, every Saturday. Tori caught her daughter, swung her around, listened to the detailed pancake report, the exact amount of blueberries, the perfect flip technique, The important difference between golden brown and too dark. This was life now. Pancake reports, kindergarten art projects, dance recitals, swimming lessons, normal childhood, safe childhood. The kind of boring stability that felt like victory after years of chaos. That afternoon they went to the park. Eleanor ran ahead, confident, fearless, knowing Mama was close, knowing she was safe, knowing love did not come with conditions or control. Another mother sat on the next bench, younger, pregnant, watching her toddler play. She looked exhausted, stressed, something haunted in her eyes. How old? Tori asked, nodding at the toddler. 2.5, the woman managed a smile, and another due in 3 months. My husband thinks we should have them close together, get the hard years over with. What do you think, I think? The woman's voice dropped. I think I don't remember the last time he asked what I thought, what I wanted, what I needed. The words hung between them, familiar, recognizable, a script Tori knew by heart. Are you okay? Tori asked gently. The woman looked at her, really looked, eyes welling. I don't know. Is it normal to feel trapped? Is it normal to love your kids but resent your life? Is it normal to wonder if you made a terrible mistake? It is normal to feel what you feel. Tori chose her words carefully. But it is not normal or okay for your husband to ignore what you want, to make decisions about your body and your life without your input. That is not partnership. That is control. I am probably just tired. The woman wiped her eyes. Pregnant emotions. Everyone says the hormones make you irrational, or the hormones make you see clearly. Sometimes, what we call irrational is just inconvenient truth, the truth that makes other people uncomfortable, the truth that challenges the status quo. The woman stared at her, processing, considering. Tori pulled out a card, her contact information. Resources on the back, if you ever need to talk, if you ever need help, if you ever need proof that leaving is possible. Call me, text me, reach out. You are not alone, and you are not crazy. The woman took the card, held it like a lifeline, like possibility, like hope. Tori and Eleanor walked home as the sun set, golden light, long shadows, her daughter's hand in hers, small, trusting, safe. This was the work, the real work, not just surviving, but helping others survive. Being visible so women knew escape was possible. Speaking up so silence was not the only option. Living fully so others could see beyond their cages. That night, after Eleanor was asleep, Tori called the Midwest Family Law Association. I accept the advocacy position. I want to do it. We are thrilled. David Morrison sounded genuinely happy. When can you start? As soon as you need me. I have a daughter. I will need flexibility. But I am ready. I have been ready. I just did not know this path existed. We will make it work. Welcome to the team, Victoria. Welcome to the fight. After the call, Tori updated her journal. The last entry, the closing of one chapter, the opening of another. She wrote, 5 years ago, I ran into the middle of the night, terrified, desperate, believing I was weak, believing I was a victim, believing survival was all I could hope for. Today I know different. I was never weak. I was gathering strength. I was never a victim. I was a survivor in training. And survival was not the ceiling. It was the floor. The foundation everything else was built on. I lost a husband. I gained myself. I lost a marriage. I gained freedom. I lost the life I thought I wanted. I gained the life I actually needed. Gregory tried to destroy me. Instead, he revealed me. Showed me what I was capable of when everything was on the line, when my daughter's future depended on my courage, when being brave was the only option left. I am grateful, not for what he did, for what I became in spite of it, for the woman who emerged from those ashes, for the mother Eleanor will grow up watching, for the voice other women needed to hear. My name is Victoria Hayes. I am 35 years old. I am a mother, an advocate, a survivor, a fighter, a woman who was trapped and got free, who was silenced and found her voice, who was controlled and chose herself. And I am just getting started. She closed the journal, put it on the shelf, a record of transformation, evidence of survival. Proof that beauty could emerge from destruction. That strength could be found in breaking. That freedom was worth fighting for. Eleanor's soft breathing came through the monitor. Peaceful, safe, loved. Growing in a home where her mother was free. Where women were people, not property. Where love did not require surrender. Where partnership was possible between equals. Tori stood at the window one last time, looked at the city, at the life she built from nothing, at the future stretching ahead. Unknown, uncertain, but hers, completely, finally, hers. She smiled, real, genuine, complete, the kind of smile that comes from surviving, from fighting, from winning, not over someone else, over her own fear, her own doubt, her own belief that she could not survive without him. Turns out she could not survive with him, but without him, she was thriving. They both were, and they would continue. One day at a time, one choice at a time, one breath at a time, building the life they deserved, the life they fought for, the life that was always possible if they were just brave enough to reach for it. Free, finally, completely, beautifully, powerfully, free. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to my story. All 100 minutes of it, that means something. My journey from that terrified new mother hiding in a cabin to the woman I am today wasn't easy, but it was worth it. And if my story helped you in any way, I want to ask you for something. First, if this story resonated with you, hit that like button. It tells me these stories matter, that survival stories deserve to be heard, that women's voices deserve amplification. Second, leave a comment. Tell me what part of the story struck you most. Share your own experience if you feel safe doing so, or just let me know you were here, that you listened, that you witnessed. Your comments create community, and community saves lives. Third, share this video, not for me, but for the woman in your life who might need to hear it. Your sister, your friend, your coworker who seems a little too controlled by her partner. Your daughter who just got engaged and is being pressured to sign something she doesn't understand. Share it with the women who need proof that escape is possible. That single motherhood is survivable. That fighting back against power can succeed. And finally, subscribe to this channel, because this isn't just my story. I share stories of survival every week. Real women, real battles, real victories. Stories the world tries to silence. Stories that make powerful people uncomfortable. Stories that change laws and save lives and break generational cycles. You being here matters. Your engagement matters. Your willingness to listen to difficult truths matters. Together, we're building something bigger than any individual story. We're building a network, a community, a movement of women who refuse to be silenced, who refuse to accept beautiful cages, who refuse to believe that survival is the best we can hope for. 5 years ago, I was voiceless, terrified, convinced I was alone. Today, I have a platform, a purpose, and thousands of women standing with me. Be part of that. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications. Show up for the next story. And the one after that. Because every story shared is a woman found. Every voice raised is a cage opened. Every survival celebrated is permission for the next woman to try. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring enough to stay for 100 minutes while I told you the hardest and most important story of my life. Now go. Live freely, love carefully, trust your instincts, protect yourself first. And remember, you are never as trapped as you think. The door is always unlocked. You just have to be brave enough to open it. I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay safe, stay free.